Magna. Magna is one of the world's largest suppliers to the automotive industry, and in fact, we're the #1 auto supplier in North America. And I like to brag to my family and friends that our closest competitor in North America is half our size. So therefore, it's a very great pleasure that I welcome you here today on behalf of our great company. Today, you'll hear from our leaders, one of our leaders, John O'Hara, Vic Fedeli, Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade for Ontario, and Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. Following the remarks, we'll take a few questions before concluding the event. And please let me introduce you to John O'Hara, President of Magna's Body and Chassis Product Group. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Misty. Hello, everyone, and good morning. I'm really excited to be here with everyone today. It's certainly a privilege to have the Premier Ford here, along with Minister Fedeli. And Invest Ontario, some of our business partners and our employees are with us as well. As many of you know, Magna's story started here in Ontario. Last year, we announced our 65th anniversary. And as we say, Magna's a 65-year startup, and we're so excited. Today, we have 49 manufacturing facilities and more than 20,000 employees in Ontario. Our continued success and growth has always been a fundamental strength of our culture, entrepreneurial spirit, our manufacturing expertise, and at the core, our people who share a desire to be the best at everything we do. Being here today to announce one of the largest growth stories we've had in this region in some time. It's an important step in our journey, and it's aligned with our future strategy. It's a great honor for me to announce that we're starting up a 490,000 square foot facility to house battery trays for Ford Oakville, as well as other OEMs in the future. In addition to Brampton, we're also growing in some of our existing facilities across 5 cities in Ontario. Our leaders are here today. I'll point you to some of them over here today that are making also an investment in other parts of Ontario. With a laser focus in delivering high-quality systems and game-changing technologies for our customers and ultimately their customers is something to be proud of. I want to conclude by thanking the Ontario government for your ongoing support to Magna. Thank you, Doug. I want to thank our employees, who I believe are some of the best in the business. And now I'd like to turn it over to Minister Fedeli to come to the podium to say a few words. Vic?
Hi, everybody, and thank you very kindly, John. Hi, this is just really excited to be here at Magna today to celebrate a true Ontario success story alongside Premier Ford, MPPs Gallagher, Murphy, McGregor, and Sandu. And joining us are the teams from Invest Ontario, who are our financial partner on this investment deal, and Toronto Global, who played a key role as the very first point of contact about a year ago in landing Magna here in Brampton. So, John, thank you and your incredible team at Magna for another investment in Ontario. This is fantastic news for our auto sector and for our workers, for our families all across the province. As you heard John say, Magna started right here in Toronto more than 65 years ago as a tool and die manufacturer. Over the years, they've grown significantly and are now one of the world's largest automotive suppliers. They have 168,000 employees around the world in 29 different countries. The company represents the hard work, the determination, and the innovation that Ontario is known for. And we're proud to say that Magna is a key part of Ontario's end-to-end electric vehicle supply chain. Businesses like Magna need the right conditions to grow, And that's why our government continues to create a competitive business environment and attract new investments like the one you're going to hear about today. Through our Driving Prosperity Plan, that's a 10-year plan to transform Ontario's automotive supply chain, we're ensuring that the cars of the future and their parts are built right here in Ontario by Ontario workers. We're proud to share that companies like Magna continue to invest in Ontario because we have everything here that they need to succeed. So again, congratulations, thank you to the team at Magna for making us feel so welcome here. And now it's a great pleasure to turn the podium over to Premier Ford to tell you about this exciting investment.
Well, good morning, everyone, and I'm thrilled to be back here in the beautiful city of Brampton alongside Minister Fedeli and MPP Gallagher Murphy, MPP Sandhu, and MPP McGregor. I love saying that, but anyways. And welcome to Councilor Toor, representing the great city of Brampton. I want to start by giving a big thank you to John and Misty and the entire team at Magna International for having us here today. Magna is one of the great Made in Ontario success stories, from a one-person tool shop that was started by my good friend Frank Stronach to one of the world's largest suppliers of car components. We're also proud of what you've accomplished over the years, and we're thrilled to be here with you today to celebrate Magna's $471 million investment to expand its Ontario-based operations. This significant investment includes a $265 million EV battery enclosure facility, which will strengthen Ontario's end-to-end electric vehicle supply chain and add more than 500 new jobs right here in Brampton. It also includes investments and hundreds of additional new jobs in other communities, including Guelph, Windsor, Belleville, Newmarket, and other regions across Ontario. And I'm pleased to announce that our government is supporting Magna's expansion with a $23.6 million investment through Invest Ontario. While the world faces economic uncertainty, we have a plan that will see Ontario continue to be a North American leader in auto manufacturing. We're creating the conditions and the environment to attract new investments. We're reducing red tape, keeping taxes low, building a skilled workforce, and making sure Ontario's power supply remains clean, reliable, and cost competitive. We're building a battery supply chain ecosystem, connecting resources, industries, and workers in Northern Ontario to manufacturers in the South. We're investing in mineral production, battery production, clean steel production, and final assembly, so that the cars of the future and the batteries that power them will be built right here in Ontario by Ontario workers. And my friends, our plan is working. In the past 2 years alone, our province has attracted over $16 billion in new investments for new vehicle and battery production, creating tens of thousands of jobs across Ontario. This includes Honda's $1.4 billion investment to retool its Alliston assembly plant, and Stellantis and LG's historic $5 billion investment to build Canada's first ever electric vehicle battery plant. And I was thrilled to be on hand at General Motors last December in Ingersoll as the first full-scale electric vehicle plant opened and trucks came off the production line. And we're not done yet. We have the expertise, we have the best workers anywhere on this planet. We have the critical minerals needed to power the electric vehicle revolution, and we have the competitive business environment needed to attract game-changing global investment to the province. With great partners, with great companies like Magna, we're revitalizing our auto sector and making Ontario an auto manufacturing powerhouse. Thank you again to Magna International for your investment and for your tremendous confidence in the growing strength and resilience of our province's auto sector. Thank you all, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you. Miss?
that concludes our remarks for today. I think we're going to open it up for questions, and so I'll step back and direct away.
And I thought you were going to take the questions for me, Misty. Okay, let's try to stick on Magna, but let's see how this one goes.
We'll now go to the floor for questions. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up. If reporters could please identify yourselves by name and outlet, and we'll try to get to as many of you as possible. Thanks.
Morning, Premier Liam Casey with the Canadian Press.
Good morning.
Wondering, what are the specific recommendations you made on sustainability and certainty to the feds on the healthcare deal?
Well, we sat down, had a conversation with all the premiers, and we're very confident we're signing this deal. We're going to move forward, but it's all about sustainability, making sure that there's not a fiscal cliff that we fall off in year 5 or also in year 10. We want certainty to make sure that when it comes to home care, long-term care, that there's funding there. It's absolutely critical that we can't just be funding all of a sudden it falls off the cliff in year 5. I'm confident that they're going to meet the needs of all the provinces and territories. We have a great team of premiers across this province. We stick together, and we're all on the same team, including the federal government. We want to continue having the greatest healthcare system anywhere in the world, right here in Ontario.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who sent out the donation request to developers and other stakeholders for your daughter's stag-and-doe?
Well, again, we're going to go back to this again. Well, first of all, I know the rules. I've been in politics for years, and I was 100% cleared with the Integrity Commissioner. But my daughter has a personal life. I don't get involved in that. You know, we've known tens of thousands of people over the years, and I don't sit there with a checklist as they're coming through the door. But I can tell you, this is the first time in Canadian history you go after any premier's family, which there used to be an unwritten rule, you don't do that. Go after any mayor's family, any prime minister, but I guess when it comes to us, there's different rules, and it's just, my opinion, it's absolutely ridiculous. About $150 stag? You got to be kidding me. Anyways, next question.
Hey, good morning, Premier. Colin DeMello with Global News. Just before I start, that was a touching tribute yesterday to Hazel McCallion that you gave.
Thank you.
Do you know how much money your family raised from that stag and doe in total? How much of it came from developers? And who did that money go to specifically?
Oh, you got to be kidding, Colin. You know something? You've known us for years. No one can influence the Fords. No one, first of all. Not to mention a $150 stag ticket. You know, we know tens of thousands of people, Colin. You've known our family for years. We open the door, no matter if it's a Ford Fest, that's 6,000 people show up in a matter of 5 hours, or any other event. You know something? The boys took care of that. I was glad to see people came by. And by the way, the vast majority of people were there. My daughters are all, well, 3 out of 4 are with police officers. The place was packed full of police officers. And by the way, they're champions. We support them. And that's what I have to say about this, Colin.
Okay, I appreciate it, Premier. I understand that the Integrity Commissioner cleared you. The Integrity Commissioner said as much. But that process, much of it is confidential. Are you willing to waive that confidentiality in the interest of transparency so the public can see what you shared with the Integrity Commissioner and what the Integrity Commissioner said to you?
Colin, my daughter is a private citizen. I don't know what you don't understand. Colin, it was my daughter's stag. They went out, we opened the doors, the vast majority of people just walked through the backyard. It was a regular stag like you may have when your kids get older, Colin. But there has to be a point. You have to have journalistic integrity. We're talking here about Magna, we're talking about job creation, and you want to talk about a $150 stag. Well, again, Colin, thank you for the question. Next question.
Morning, Premier. Alan Hale from Queen's Park today. This morning, Mississauga City Council is debating a motion to declare that Mississauga should remain independent, not be amalgamated with Brampton and other communities into a larger city of Peel. Your government has initiated a review of municipal governments where this appears to be on the table. Bonnie Crombie told me this morning that such a large municipality would be inefficient and that Hazel McCallion wanted Mississauga to remain independent. Given all that, do you support amalgamation in Peel? And if not, will you rule that possibility out here and now?
Well, I've always supported a size of Mississauga, 800,000 people, and Brampton, I think it's well over 600,000 people, to have be a standalone city. We're going to sit down with the mayors again. We're in constant communication with them, and I think they're both great regions, along with Caledon as well. You know, we see tremendous growth up in Caledon. We see tremendous growth in Brampton and Mississauga. But I've always been a believer they should be standalone. But this is going to be a conversation that we're going to have with the mayors in the region, along with our Minister of Municipal Affairs, Steve Clark. And then we'll all sit down collectively and make that decision.
I see we have some Brampton City Councillors here. I was hoping that Councilor Toor or Councilor Santos would like to come to the mic to give their thoughts on this issue.
Sure, absolutely.
Hi, good morning.
So given that he's not ruling it out, what do you make of this idea that Brampton could be amalgamated with Mississauga and other communities into a larger city of Peel? And is that a good idea? Is that something Brampton wants?
So Brampton doesn't have an official position on this, but we do look forward to working with the Ford government, with the Premier, and with Minister Steve Clark to see the review that they will be undertaking this year. But of course, at every single step of the way, we will be advocating for a fair share for Brampton, whether we stay in the current structure or we amalgamate as a bigger city. We do need to make sure that residents of Brampton are treated fairly when it comes to services, when it comes to changes that it would translate into the residential property taxes. Every single step of the way, we hope that we can work with a facilitator that the Premier would be appointing. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor.
Hi, Premier.
Hi.
Rob Ferguson, Toronto
Hey, Rob.
Star. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Just wanted to switch gears a bit to Toronto city politics. So we understand you've talked privately with Mayor John Tory, and a lot of people are saying it's a tricky time for the mayor to be stepping down at this point. Would you like him to reconsider? Do you think he should reconsider his decision to resign?
Well, that's going to be up to the mayor and his family. Again, that is private. That's what I was emphasizing earlier on. There's your private family, and then there's business. And I can tell you, Mayor Tory has been a phenomenal partner. He's been a really good mayor for the city of Toronto. And just in my opinion, it's not time to change. Everything's going tickety-boo in Toronto, working well with the federal and provincial government. And what happens in their private life is strictly up to the mayor and their family.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Premier. Just changing gears again, a new session of the House begins on Monday, or Tuesday, I mean, after Family Day. What are we going to see coming from your government? There's going to be the healthcare reform bills. What else are we going to see? What do you want to get done this late winter and spring?
Well, thanks for that question, Rob. We're going to look at the health reform bill, which is really changing the healthcare delivery system. We have put billions and billions of dollars into the healthcare system, but my philosophy has always been the same. You can't throw billions of dollars into a system and expect a different result. We have 203,000 backlog surgeries that we have to get cleared up, and half of those are hip, knee, and cataracts, which are pretty straightforward surgeries. That's why we're going to make sure that we're going to make it easier for people to get a hip replacement, knee replacement, or cataracts. We're going to bring down the burden on the hospitals so the serious operations can go in there and get taken care of. It's a great plan. We've consulted with the sector over and over and over again. They believe it's a great plan. And then our plan to make it easier for people to go into pharmacies and get 13 standard prescriptions, rather than putting the burden on a primary care doc to continue writing out the scripts. So it's a great plan. We've consulted with the sector, and we're going to change healthcare in this province in a positive fashion, with collaboration with the CEOs of the hospitals, with OHA, with OMA. So it's going to be a collective decision.
Hi, Premier. Laura Stone, Globe and Mail.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. Back to your comments about Mayor Tory. Can you expand? You say it's a private matter, but he did resign after he admitted to an inappropriate relationship. So you say that you don't think it's time to change. So are you urging the mayor to reconsider his resignation now?
Well, first of all, thank you for the question, Laura, but that's up to the mayor. This is very personal. It's very private. I'm not going to comment on his private issue with his family at all. I'm just looking on a perspective of the largest city in Toronto, the incredible relationship we have had with Toronto, building the largest transit system in North America, getting people of the cars into the transit, but so many other projects we worked well on. And I think everyone has seen the good job that Mayor Tory has done. The guy's a relentless worker. I don't even think, I always say I don't sleep, but I don't think he sleeps either. He's up at 5, he's out there, and the guy doesn't stop till midnight. We've had late night conversations. So is he the best thing that we have in Toronto? Yes, he is the best thing. And let's not upset the apple cart for a personal issue he's dealing with. He's a really, really good mayor, and let's move forward.
Do you think it's fair that he's staying on to try and pass his budget now?
I think it is, because he was the one who put the budget together. I think it's good for Toronto, all Torontonians, that we get this budget through. And I just want to wish him all the best. And that will be up to him to decide what he's going to do. But I'll work with any mayor. I think I've shown people, I don't care who's mayor, but I really respect and appreciate the work that we have done together, the mayor and I. We get things done when we work collaboratively and cooperatively together.
Hi, Premier. David Lau with CBC News.
Hi, Dave.
Are you afraid that the expanded mayoral powers that you gave to John Tory would backfire if your government, if a Liberal or more left-leaning mayor gets into office? Well,
if a lefty mayor gets in there, God help the people of Toronto. We saw it before when Rob was there. Taxes going through the roof, out of control spending, worrying about, lining the pockets of City Hall's coffers. We have a different philosophy. Our philosophy is put money back into the taxpayers' pockets, reinvest into companies, and that's how you have a thriving economy. But folks, I'll tell you, if a left-wing mayor gets in there, we're toast. I'll tell you, it'd be a disaster in my opinion. And so I believe Mayor Tory's done a great job on economic development, making sure we build great transit systems, and keeping taxes as low as he can at the rate of inflation. And that's what we need. So that's my opinion on that.
Would you rescind those powers?
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, I would not rescind them. The people will hold the politicians accountable, no matter if it's a federal government, be it myself or the mayor of any city out of the 444 municipalities. That's what I love about democracy. If you don't like him or her, the leader at the time, guess what? In 4 years, you get to replace them. And that's a fantastic system. So, no, I wouldn't rescind them. Matter of fact, I want to expand them.
This will be the last question.
Good morning, Premier. Manan Gupta from Road Today.
Hi.
Starting tomorrow at the auto show, we are going to see a big galaxy of electric vehicles, especially starting with Project Arrow. So I want to, first of all, congratulate Team Ontario for bringing Canada's first zero-emission vehicle to fruition. Going on that direction, I was wondering if you or the Honourable Minister could throw some light on the possible plans to train the existing and the future workforce to enhance the electric vehicle ecosystem in Ontario, because we need to prepare our workforce to really build up the electric vehicle mega hub. Thank you.
Excellent question. Before I hand it over to Vic here, we've created the environment and the conditions for companies to come here that, those conditions weren't here. Companies were leaving. Over 300,000 people lost their jobs under the previous government. As we stand today, there's over 500,000 people employed more than there were in the previous government. There's 380,000 jobs available. because we created that environment. We're in a competitive market worldwide right now, and if we don't attract companies, guess what? They're going down the south, they're going to Mexico, they're going over to Europe or Asia, but we've created the conditions to be a powerhouse in North America. We've cut $7 billion of burden off the backs of companies. We've seen $16 billion of investment, and that's just going to continue to grow, creating 10,000 jobs right here in Ontario. Because do you know what the key is here? We have the best workforce. We have the most talented workforce anywhere in the world, not to mention colleges and universities. They're second to none. I know Vic and I, when we're out there selling Ontario, our biggest selling feature is the quality of life and the quality of people that we have here in Ontario. I'll put our team, Ontario, up against any jurisdiction in the world. And as for the training, we're investing into training, into the trades, and also these companies like Magnas of the world, they're investing in training their people. So we're ready. Keep investing in Ontario. There's still a lot more announcements coming. This is just the beginning. We are an economic powerhouse in North America. Vic, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you for the question. You know, John and I were talking earlier with the Premier, and John was saying, when you do an expansion like this, 6 different plants from Windsor to Belleville and Penetanguishene and places in between, there's a lot of what they call execution risk. But that is mitigated here in Ontario, as John would say, because of the people that we have. You know, we graduate 65,000 STEM grads every year, science, technology, engineering, and math. We have 24 colleges and universities that have specific auto programs. So we've done everything for these companies to mitigate the risk. You know, when they look all globally and make their decisions, they end up choosing Ontario because they know they can rely on the people here, because we continue to produce these graduates and spend so much time. We have a skills development fund through the Ministry of Labor that is specifically designed to help train the people in the jobs that are needed today. And that's why we're landing, as the Premier said earlier, more than $16 billion in investments in the last 24 months. Thanks.
To Premier Ford. As a Brampton resident, you know, we always welcome your visits to Brampton with major announcements. So when is the next visit due?
I don't know. It seems like I should go back to my own residence. I always tell everyone, when Carl and I got married 35 years ago, we lived on Clark Boulevard for 5 years on Lisa Street, and I love the people of Brampton. And I just want to thank the people of Brampton for electing all the ridings, every single riding in Brampton, elected a great PC member that's representing the people of Brampton. No matter if it's a medical school or the new hospital or the expansion of companies here, Brampton's just one of the best places anywhere in the world to raise a family, to start a business. And I feel like I'm here almost every single week. So that's good news for the folks of Brampton. And I just want to thank Magna once again for having the confidence in our government, having the confidence of the people of Brampton to invest right here and other jurisdictions across Ontario. We're very, very, very fortunate.
So much, everyone.
Okay, thanks everyone. All the very best. God bless.